Hello, friends. I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I am fantastic. And it has been 4 years today since I stopped taking Lexapro. Lexapro is a SSRI, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, that is regularly prescribed for generalized anxiety disorder and major depressive disorder. I happen to have both of those things when I was given the medication, and I took it for like 5 years, 4 or 5 years. Took it for a long time. And 4 years ago today, I took my or I was 4 years ago yesterday was my last dose, and I would have forgotten about it, except that this morning I woke up and M had written me this beautiful note because she remembered, and it's an important detail to her because it signified a very big change in my life, which in turn, here we are 4 years later, a big change in our lives. At that point, 4 years ago, M had been in my life for, M had been coming here and being a part of my home life here for 7 months or 6 months or something like that. We had known each other for 10 months or somewhere around there, but she had become a regular fixture of my life, and a big reason why I was able to stop taking the medication. And so it was important to her to say, hey, recognize that this has been 4 years, right? It's been a long time, and I think that's a big deal. She also included some little gifts that she thought it would be neat to celebrate this as a day, and I went, okay. It was super thoughtful, and I'm very appreciative of all of that. But so you guys know that daily I come down here, I turn my camera, and tell you what's happening in my life. And for the most part, what's happening in my life is normal, everyday, mundane stuff that happens in everybody's life. I have nothing exciting going on. Yeah, I have a job that's interesting, and I have a side job that's interesting, and I play video games, and I play board games, and I talk about that stuff sometimes, but I don't have enough interesting content to come down here and talk about every day. But there are some videos of mine, through the course of doing 1,600 and some plus episodes, some of these videos have reached an audience. A handful of these videos have reached an audience. And the ones that I consistently receive communications from are the videos specifically about antidepressants, Lexapro, whatever. There's a couple of those videos. One that I did about the dreams that I was experiencing while taking the medication. That one gets a lot of attention, and the other one is the year after Lexapro video. I get feedback from, and at least once a month somebody reaches out and wants to talk about it. Somebody reaches out to me on Instagram or on Twitter or email and says, hey, I'm going through something similar. Tell me about the side effects. Tell me what can I expect. I'm not feeling great. How am I doing? And that means a lot to me to know that I have been able to reach somebody who's got questions that don't have answers, or their doctor isn't providing them the answers that they are looking for, or their doctor is completely unaware. And I've been able to help some people like that through something that's scary. I'm not going to name names ever, but this week I got a person reached out to me saying that they've been on the medication for like 6 months, and they noticed something I talked about in my 1 year video was how Lexapro had stolen my creativity. It had just ripped it out of me. And I knew that before I started taking the medication. I had taken SSRIs in my teenage years. I knew how it was going to make me feel, and I accepted it at that time in my life. When I started taking it, I needed it. I was in a really bad place. Physically, I was in a very bad place. Emotionally, I was in a very bad place. I was just a not healthy person, and I was incapable of helping myself to the degree that I needed. And I needed support, and I wasn't getting support in my personal life, so the medication was my support. And I accepted the fact that it was going to dull me and numb me, and I was very thankful for that. This person that reached out to me said, I can't do this. This is like, it's not working for me. What do I do? You know? And so we talked through how the tapering process works. This person had taken other SSRIs and had quit cold turkey, and that is an extremely dangerous thing to do. If any of you are ever thinking about quitting cold turkey, do not do it. It is extremely dangerous. It can cause seizures. It can cause all sorts of problems. My father has early onset Parkinson's, and it was possibly created due to cold turkeying all of his medications. He probably had a propensity for it, but the doctors have told us it was probably due to he went to see a specialist, and the specialist decided to stop all of his medicines, and that he had seizures for months. I mean, it was terrible, terrifying. Don't do it. Do not quit cold turkey. See a medical professional. If you can't do that, or you're unwilling to do that, at least learn a proper taper cycle for the dosage that you're on and taper slowly. I tapered over a month. People have said that's too short. It worked okay for me. For the first couple of weeks, I had bad headaches. That went away, and I felt fine from that point forward. The one question I constantly get is, when did you feel normal again? And I hate being the bearer of bad news, but I always tell them it took years. It literally took years before I felt like my cognitive abilities returned to where they were. Almost 2 full years, or maybe past 2 full years, before I really felt 100% again. Did my previous symptoms return? Yes and no. I tell people that a lot. The one thing that Lexapro really helped me with was anxiety. I had really crushing anxiety, and it went away almost immediately. While on the medication, I was extremely unanxious about everything. Stuff that I should have been deathly anxious about, I was not. I had no anxiety whatsoever the entire time I was on the medication. Since stopping, some anxiety has returned, but I think it's a healthy level of anxiety. I'm anxious about things that I should be anxious about. You know, big things, important things. I'm no longer anxious about all the stupid little details that I used to obsess over. So, I would say that yes, my symptoms returned, but to a much more normal level, to a level that makes me feel human. I can tell you that taking that medication robs you of some sort of humanity. It makes you feel numb and dull, and everything is just passing by. Again, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. For the place that I was in my life at that time, it was exactly what I needed, and I'm very happy that I took that chance and I took that medication, and it saved me a lot. But I didn't need it anymore. M came into my life and said, I don't think you're as bad off as you think you are. And she really helped me understand and see who I was as a person. And I've spent the last 4 years trying to iron that out, trying to find those wrinkles that caused my issues in the first place and smooth them out and make them better. And I think that without her in my life, without the medication numbing me, I would have never gotten to that point, right? I would have just continued to be this tight ball of anxiety that was, I couldn't see the forest through the trees or whatever, right? I couldn't see a solution. I couldn't see the outcome because I just couldn't get away from everything that was right in front of me. And she helped me do that, and I've spent the last 4 years working on myself intensely. I mean, intensely. On a daily basis, I work on myself. I work on, altering the way I think about myself. I work on altering the way I think about everything outside of myself. I work on the way I think about being critical, or at some points in my life I've been hypercritical of everything. I think about how I treated my children and how I'm going to treat my children. I work on all of that stuff on a very, very regular basis. And I'm super thankful for all of it. I can tell you that For the last couple of years, I felt very normal. I felt very much like I did earlier in life. I have passion, I have drive. It's not obsessive. I got to the point where my passion and drive had become obsessive. I have anxiety about things. It's not an obsessive anxiety. It's not anything I can't manage, either on my own or with M's help. You know, we talk through a lot of things, and you know, I have a support structure now. I have kids that understand who I used to be and who I am now, and are willing to, you know, continue to develop our relationships together, because I think we have good relationships. Me and my kids get along great, and I'm, you know, I'm fine. I really am. I'm really good. I'm really, really good. I know I tell you that, and I've told you that every day for almost 7 years now. And the reality is, for a lot of those years, that wasn't true. I wasn't good. But right now, I'm really good. Everything is really good. And, you know, I'm trying my damnedest to keep it that way. So, for anybody out there that finds these videos and has a lot of questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Lots of people have. Lots of people have reached out to me, usually on Instagram. I guess it's just that the instant messaging there is a little easier to use for everybody. That's fine. My emails are in the descriptions, my Twitter, my Instagram. You can find me. Reach out. I'm the only Chevy Dodd on this planet. It's really easy to find me. Just Google. And I'm more than willing to talk to you about what you're going through, because you are not alone. You are not living in a vacuum. I promise you. Cool. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is oblique. It is an adjective meaning indirectly or deviously achieved. If direct appeals do not work, Amanda is always quick to use oblique methods in order to get her father to buy her whatever luxury item she wants. Oblique. O-B-L-I-Q-U-E. Is that not also... a measure of an angle? Or oblique angle is a thing? Am I thinking of the correct word?